"I didn't see multimillionaires in that jury box." Todd Crisley said that after a federal jury convicted him on every count. He said it after his wife Julie was sent to a different prison. After more than 2 years passed without them hearing each other's voices. After their children were left to manage a shattered reputation. After a $17,270,741.57 restitution order followed them like a shadow. And even after a presidential pardon opened the prison gates, he still insisted he had nothing to apologize for. The legal sentence ended. The consequences did not. Todd Crisley was born Michael Todd Crisley on April 6, 1969, in Georgia. His childhood truly unfolded in Westminster, a town small enough that reputations traveled faster than cars. Fewer than 3,000 people. Blue Ridge Mountains nearby. Southern discipline inside the home. His parents, Jean Raymond Crisley and Elizabeth Fay Crisley, raised their sons with strict expectations. His mother worked exhausting shifts inside a textile mill, sometimes 60 hours a week. Heat, dust, machinery, repetition. Todd would later describe those years as proof that money required effort and endurance. There was also loss. An older brother, Derek, died as an infant. Todd was too young to understand it, but grief reshaped the household. Protection intensified. Expectations hardened. Across the same town, Julie Hughes was growing up in a double-wide trailer. Her father worked as a mechanic before becoming a Baptist minister. Her mother worked at a bank. Faith, routine, and modest living defined her early world. Their paths crossed in the early 1990s while Julie worked at a local bank. Todd was navigating a divorce from his first wife, Teresa Terry. He later said he noticed Julie immediately. They married on May 25, 1996. She was 9 months pregnant. Before that marriage, his relationship with Teresa had already fractured publicly. She described control, isolation, and fear inside the relationship. Court filings included allegations of physical violence and threats. A judge ordered Todd to stay away from her during one period of separation. Their divorce finalized in 1996, but tension carried into co-parenting. While his personal life remained complicated, Todd pursued money aggressively. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, he built wealth through real estate. He flipped distressed properties, scaled quickly, and created Crisley Asset Management in 1996 to handle non-performing loans for banks. The company gained access to foreclosure information from government-backed mortgage institutions, allowing high-volume transactions. Between 2007 and 2012, Todd and Julie obtained roughly $36 million in loans from community banks around Atlanta. At their peak, monthly income reportedly exceeded $600,000. Then came the imbalance. By August 2012, Todd filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Court documents listed $4.2 million in assets and $49.4 million in debt. He reported having $55 in his checking account and $100 in cash. His wardrobe, once described publicly as costing hundreds of thousands per year, was valued in filings at $650. Investigators began noticing discrepancies. Prosecutors later argued that false bank statements and fabricated financial documents were used to secure massive loans. A Merrill Lynch account showing millions allegedly did not exist at the time it was presented. When one was eventually opened, it never held more than $17,000. New loans paid old ones. Debt rotated instead of disappearing. Even as bankruptcy proceedings unfolded, a new chapter began on television. In December 2013, USA Network purchased the family's reality show after a bidding war. Crisley Knows Best premiered on March 11, 2014. The show portrayed an extravagant Southern household living in a mansion in Roswell, Georgia. Viewers saw polished suits, sharp parenting lectures, and a man obsessed with control and image. The ratings were strong. Spin-offs followed. The brand expanded. Behind the cameras, federal scrutiny intensified. In August 2019, Todd and Julie were indicted on multiple counts, including bank fraud, wire fraud conspiracy, and tax evasion. Prosecutors alleged they had burned through more than $30 million in fraudulent loans and evaded nearly $2 million in state taxes. They described shell companies and income funneled into accounts designed to shield money from the IRS. The trial lasted 3 weeks in 2022. The jury convicted them on every count. In November 2022, a federal judge sentenced Todd to 12 years in prison and Julie to 7. Restitution was set at $17,270,741.57. Asset forfeiture orders followed. Their accountant received a 3-year sentence. On January 17, 2023, they reported to separate federal facilities. Todd was sent to a minimum security prison in Florida. Julie reported to a federal medical center in Kentucky. For more than 2 years, they were unable to speak to each other directly. Communication requests stalled. Phone time was limited. Emails were delayed. Their daughter Savannah became legal guardian to her younger brother and niece. She spoke publicly about the emotional toll and criticized the severity of the sentences. Then, on May 27, 2025, President Donald Trump granted full pardons to both Todd and Julie. The announcement came with confirmation that the paperwork would be finalized immediately. Freedom returned. Reputation did not. Julie later said she developed a lung condition during incarceration, blaming environmental exposure inside the facility. Todd described unsafe conditions as well. Medical concerns became part of their post-prison narrative. The restitution order, however, remained enforceable. Financial obligations did not disappear with the pardon. When Todd addressed the public after his release, he did not express remorse. He said he believed he had been wrongfully convicted. He questioned the makeup of the jury. He rejected the idea of shame. The arc of the story never bends toward apology. From small-town discipline to televised wealth, from bankruptcy filings to federal prison, from conviction to presidential pardon, the image shifted repeatedly. What never shifted was his refusal to accept guilt. The sentence ended. The argument did not.